I don't know, whatever. Three, two, one. Oh, here we go again. Hey, everybody. We're back. We are here again, and it's your favorite dads, and it's your favorite podcast. And when you put those two things together, it's your favorite thing ever. And it's your two dads, but it's your two dads with Sam, too, because we're actually three dads. And maybe we'll change that one day. I don't know. I really like Talk Daddy to me, but I also really like your two dads because it's my idea, and I like things that I think up. So it's a toss up. It's really hard for me to decide. What do you think, Dan? Dan's here today. Say hey, Dan.
Hey, what's up, podcast family?
That's so.
I don't know. I lost words. Like, get off
so,
my back.
You're so charismatic. What?
Not really.
Sam's also here. Say hey, Sam. Oh, Sam's froze.
Ruh-roh, Raggy.
Oh, Sam's lost all video. Sam's reconnecting the audio. Okay, so, you know what though? It
not
froze
frozen.
It froze on a really good facial expression. You had a big smile on your face and very friendly, very inviting.
Awesome.
So
awesome. We should cut and save that thing.
Yeah, I wish I might search that through and cut that out. Put that.
Take a screenshot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Sam, how are things?
Things are going great. I mean, I could do with a little more sleep, but I think that's as a parent, all of us really could. It never seems like you're ever caught up on laundry or sweep the floor, pick up the toys, do the dishes and stuff like that. So I mean, it's a labor of love. But that's all right. That's I guess why grown-ups live on coffee, right? So yeah, I got a little bit of Green Mountain coffee is what I'm drinking right now.
I used to drink coffee well into the evening, but I've tried to make myself stop drinking it right around 4, 5, something like that. Dan will drink Monster and like through the night. Like he will have one open at his bedside just in case he needs one.
Yep. It's like the alcoholics that fall asleep with a beer and get up in the morning and take that swig of nastiness. Yes.
You drink it
pretty much what I do.
Monster.
But with Monster.
Yeah. It's like that Friday episode where Devo wakes up and takes a drink out of that out of his water bottle. You wake up, take a drink out of your Monster. So yeah, I guess we're gonna do this one without any guests. I don't think anybody's gonna magically pop up unless you guys are gonna surprise me with a guest that I didn't know about.
No.
No one shaking. Yeah, I didn't think so. I didn't think anybody had a magic. I say magic like it's a fucking magician, but I didn't think you guys had any ways to surprise me. Any magical. Why do I keep wanting magic? I don't know. Anyways. So it's just gonna be the three of us, and I hope neither of you are all too upset about that. I know that our 8 viewers are gonna listen to us regardless of what we do or who we talk to or who's here. We've got like 9 people that are just gonna listen to us. No matter, we could recite the fucking alphabet, and 9 people are gonna listen to us. We've got
read out of the dictionary.
Yeah, we got a guy in Sweden. We've got a guy in India. At least one guy in India. These are like real fans. I wish I could find, I could say that like we've got a guy in fucking Montana or something, but America is our biggest block of listeners. So it's like, we've got, when I look at America, it's it's like we've got 60 or whatever like listens, but when I can go to another country and then really be like, okay, I know that sudden jump in listens is from one person. We have one really cool fan in India that is learning to be a better father, and he's laughing his way all the way to better fatherland. And,
yeah.
I use fatherland in the best possible way.
Hey, Dan, real quick. Guess what Corey doesn't know? That my VPN shows me based out of India, and I'm the secret biggest fan.
Oh, that sucks, bro. Talk about a dagger to the heart, man. That's something you would do too, because you just downloaded like 27 episodes all at one time. It was really fucked up.
No, that's not me. That's not me. But thank you to anybody who's out there listening, and anybody who gives us a little bit of their time out of the day. it makes us feel a little better that there is somebody out there, or a few somebodies out there that are kind of taking the time out of their day to listen to what we have to say, and maybe they take some of it and apply it to their life, and maybe they don't. Maybe they tell their friends. Word of mouth helps, and the internet's pretty good about spreading stuff, whether it's true or not, good or not, or
We
so
need to
Yeah.
start lying, dude. If we just start lying, man, we'll get popular in no time.
I know my
right.
buddy I know my buddy just had a baby, and he said he's binging our episodes. So, Zach, thank you. You're a good friend, and you are on your way to becoming one hell of a dad because you're listening to us.
Yeah, yeah, but
There you go.
anybody listening has like multiple
Cheers,
ways to
Zach.
get a hold of us. We're on YouTube. We're on, well, Instagram, kind of, sort of. We're on
Yeah.
TikTok. I'm on Facebook. I'm trying to decide whether to like change my profile just into the podcast, because it doesn't really make sense to me to have another like page on Facebook for the podcast. We're just not that popular.
Like another account or something.
Yeah, I mean, I had one for the D&D thing back when I did the old D&D podcast that failed so fast, like the fucking Hindenburg. But I don't know. I don't even remember how to do that, and I don't know if it's even worth it, because I'm just going to post the same things. It's like, why would I have a different thing when I'm not going to be posting other things on there? So, anyways, point being, you can get us anywhere, and some of them come directly to us. So, if you're a longtime fan, if you're that guy from Belgium, if you're that guy from India, if you're that friend of Dan's, hit us up somewhere. Your two dads. Sometimes it's just a number, but the picture's always the same.
Yep.
Uh, though, that just like the title, maybe the picture changes one day. But for now, for all intents and purposes, hey man, what the picture's the same. So just look for the picture. Your two dads. Google Podcast sent me something today. Don't know why, but we're on there. I know that. So wherever you listen, like you could literally just type in your two dads on Google, and you're gonna find us. Like, I mean, that's how easy we are to find. So, yeah. I mean,
we're really easy to find on YouTube. Like you type it in, we're like the only thing that pops up.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, not the only thing, but like anything with dad in the title, but we're in there. Like, we're on the top. We're in the top few options. That's for sure.
I've considered getting like blue check marks in a couple different things, but I really just don't know. We don't have our accounts on those particular social medias don't have an intense following right now, so I don't know if it's worth the money to pay for that blue check mark. Or
maybe the people I'm trying to get a hold of would write us back or write me back if I had a blue check mark. I always think of that. I'm like, damn, I'm a nobody trying to get a hold of these really A-list people, and they're just like, hell with this guy. I'm too busy for him.
I feel that. That's part of why my enthusiasm is kind of cooled off on trying to find people that I was interested in, because it's just, why the fuck they want to talk to us? I mean, I know that writers tend to have a lot of time for promo and what have you, but with this SAG thing, I don't even know like what they can fucking talk about. I don't know who's involved in that. I'm a dumbass, maybe. I don't know. I'm actually trying to cut back on my news intake. It doesn't seem to really do anything good for me to know what's going on. I can't ever do anything about it, and it just makes me feel bad to like, read some of these articles. So,
yeah,
I'm kind of trying to cut back on that, and maybe somebody that reads more does know what's going on, but it all kind of
every now and again there's some ringers in there. There's some decent stories that either make you chuckle or kind of restore a fraction of your faith in humanity.
If
I
you
don't
ever
have
come
one of
across
those stories.
Yeah, you should send me those. We'll read those on the podcast so that people have something to smile about. I did used to go to this one. It's called like the Good News Network or something like that. But I think it was sold. I don't know. I haven't looked for it in a while. I think it wasn't updating fast enough for me or something like that. I need that's why I post so many reels, because if I am following something, or if I'm part of a Facebook group, like I need them to give me repeated content, like again and again. I've really I've actually I've got a bunch of Philip reels, but I've already been passing over reels with him because it's just like I only want like I had that one. Dan, you may remember, and Sam, you may listen. I don't know, but he's like, when America sneezes, the world gets a cold, and I was like,
Yep.
that's fucking hilarious. I was like, I'm gonna make a reel out of that, sure as shit, and I made the reel, and I emailed the reel to me because it's a long fucking process of getting them from my computer, and then it came time, it came, like that came next in line, and I was like, you know what, that's kind of like I don't really, I don't, I don't really. So I couldn't even put it into words, but I was just like, no, that's not really what we're about. I mean, it's funny, but like, I mean, eh. So I guess what I'm trying to say is that even though there are going to be a lot of Philip reels here lately, I am actually already narrowing down the ones that I previously had in the list. I am trying to kind of get through them before we get to that girl, but I don't think that will happen. I think that a couple more days of him will be overlapping with her. Uh, I originally was all gung ho about not going off on a tangent at the beginning of these episodes, but really, like, who gives a fucking shit?
That's what
So,
we always do.
yeah, that's just what we do, man. And if you don't like it, then suck my fucking dick. Fucking up your ass with it. Fuck you. Oh, by the way, we're gonna put this on YouTube if it all comes out all right. This will be our first real video on YouTube, and hopefully you like our pretty faces. 2 out of 3 ain't bad. So yeah, and so I'm gonna take that and I'm gonna turn it around and I'm gonna make that our intro. And
That's a good Meatloaf song, by the way.
yeah, it is. It
Two
really
out of
is.
three ain't bad.
He
It's
he didn't
sad.
he didn't have many, but the ones that he did have were really really good.
Fucking bangers.
Yeah, bangers, banger after banger after banger, and then it
Not
stopped because
really.
there's only
Yeah.
like 3 bangers.
Yeah.
So like I always do with these podcasts, I like to just take the responsibility and just thrust it upon somebody else's shoulders. And I know that I came to you guys, I don't know, a day ago. I lose track of time, and I was like, "Hey, give me things to talk about for the podcast." And Sam, you had something that I have actually thought about from time to time. I didn't have it on my handy list, but it is a very important part of my day to day. It's something that I focus on probably more than I need to. It's something, I don't know, maybe my mom put into me harshly or too early or something, and bruised my fragile brain such that it's now a thing for me. But I really do care about dental care. And Sam, you are going to take us off this path, and you're gonna blaze a new trail of dental care talk, and you're gonna lead us into the promised land of all kinds of advice and tips and tricks for dental care. So go ahead and take the hatchet from me, take the torch from me, and cut us a new trail. Talk to us about dental care.
All right, awesome. Yeah, like you said, I mean, at an early age, most of our parents, are trying to hammer into a routine or some kind of structure based around dental hygiene. If they're, kind of paying attention to the overall health of your child. Dental care kind of seems to get swept by the wayside in a lot of families, in a lot of communities too. And it's still one of those things that just because you don't check it like you do your fuel levels in your vehicle, or the bread supply you have in your pantry or something like that, doesn't mean that it still is not important. Just because you don't go to the doctor or to the dentist every day, you should still be kind of making regular checkups. And like I said, a lot of us do kind of get too busy in our day or forget about it. And then some people are fanatical about it, but I think by and large, we could probably do a little bit better with that. With that being said, when your children start developing teeth and they're past the teething phase, when you can kind of go ahead and throw away the pacifiers, binkies, if you call them that, other little toys that the kids like to chew on. Um, you need to start kind of looking at some smaller toothbrushes, and some things that are going to be easy on the kid's stomach, the toothpastes and the mouthwashes. A lot of that stuff has, a pretty fair amount of alcohol in there. And so, that's one thing you, as a parent, you kind of got to check on it, because it might be too strong for the kids to kind of use. Once you started, showing them how to swish it around and use the mouthwash. Um, and then they also have different flavors of dental floss. And I mean, I think maybe over the past, 20 years or so, the different kinds of accessories, tools, and little gadgets that you can use to take care of your dental health, has really, really expanded. I mean, electric toothbrushes might have been a thing when I was younger. I don't really remember them a whole lot.
They
They
were
just had that
expensive
bell.
as shit.
Yeah, yeah, right.
Back then, I
Yeah.
remember them when I was a kid, but they were like fucking $700 for a damn, water pick and shit.
And when I
Yeah.
was a
Sorry, I
kid,
didn't
I
mean
had
to
to
cut
use
you
my
off,
poop
but
stick.
No, no. But
shit razor.
Shit razor, that's what it was. My shit razor, yes. It's not my poop stick, it's my shit razor. That's an inside joke. That's so
Yeah,
inside, it would
that
take
is
too
so
long to explain
inside.
it.
Yep.
It's so inside that I didn't even tell the joke right. Um, you did touch on a bunch of things, and I don't mean to cut you off, but I'll forget them if I don't say my piece. There's there's one thing I remember from when I was a kid that I guess has probably swayed my habits to this day because I don't do it anymore. And that's man, Listerine. That shit burns. Like
hmm
I think my mom put me on that stuff too early because that really did turn me off of mouthwash. I floss every day. I actually brush twice a day, but I don't use mouthwash at all. And I think it's because like every time I'm like, just how much is this gonna burn? And because with the Listerine, it always burned every time. And
hmm
I think that, like you said, that was a mistake. Like she fucked up. Well, one of many. But if you want your kids to enjoy it, then you have to really think about things like that. You have to make it as pleasant a process as you can, from the act of doing it to what it tastes like to whether it's got too much alcohol in it.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
And I mean, and since you guys are fairly new parents, I'm sorry, Dan, did you have something?
Oh no, I was just gonna like yeah, as soon as I was gonna say, you said when they stopped teething, we kind of did it, not when she stopped, but when my daughter stopped, but we started doing it when she had quite a bit of teeth. I wouldn't say all her teeth, but we started brushing, you know, she had about, I'd say about like half her teeth or so. We started like, okay, we need to start not every day, but we would like, every other day maybe we'd start brushing. And yeah, we used the small, they have little tiny kids toothbrush or baby toothbrushes or whatever. So we got those. We'd buy like a 2 or 3 pack, and every, I don't even know how often we would change it, but we would change them pretty regularly. And yeah, we didn't go for the mint right away because we thought that'd be too much too quick when she was that little. So we went with the more fruity kids flavored, and
hmm
they also do fluoride free, which for kids, I would say, especially with their baby teeth like that, I'd say that's probably the route to go.
Damn, I didn't even think about that. I don't even know if
Yeah,
mine's fluoride
hmm
free.
and that's
Yeah.
the way we went. And now, of course,
That
it's a
motherfucker's
nightly.
drinking bathwater the whole time. So I
Yeah,
mean,
it's
he
true.
gets all the fluoride he needs. He can use it in his toothpaste.
But it's part of, you just gotta, like you were saying, you gotta make it enjoyable for them. Like when I do it, my daughter fights 9 times out of 10, she'll fight me. But if I make her laugh, or even if I start tickling her to get her to get in a better mood, like she will eventually open her mouth and let me do it. And we're getting to the point now where we're gonna try to start teaching her to do it. Like when we do her teeth, and then we brush her hair. And when we sit her up on our lap to do her hair, we give her the toothbrush and let her get familiar with the brushing by herself, and get her used to that. And she doesn't obviously do a very good job, but because she's 3 years old, but it's the fact that she's learning and she knows, hey, we have to do this at night. And I a little bit about my past. I was horrible. I took this is gonna sound disgusting, and I'm sorry, but I took I didn't brush my teeth very good after I moved out on my own for the first couple of years. Like I would just say fuck it, and I ain't got time for that, and I was too busy doing other wild and crazy shit that I won't get into. So I'm paying for it now. I'm better about it now.
Because
So I'm
Dan's a
trying
crazy
to,
boy.
yeah, crazy. But that's one thing that I want to, hey, don't be stupid like I was. You need to take care of your teeth. I will probably eventually need fake teeth, probably now, but I eventually will need them probably more than likely. And that's because I was an idiot and didn't take care of my teeth from 19 to 21 ish. And yeah, I'm paying for it now, but I don't want her to go through that. My wife has some sort of disease in her teeth where no matter what, she could brush her teeth 10 times a day, but they're still going to rot out of her head. So I'm worried she'll have that. But yeah, so it's kind of a big emphasis in our house.
Oh, for sure. I mean, and I'm kind of like parallel to Dan's side there. When I was younger, I gravitated towards anything that was sweet, like sodas, candies, chocolate. I was always chewing bubble gum, or I always had some kind of piece of candy or something like that in my pocket. And I did brush my teeth a lot when I was younger, and my parents did. I feel like they did a pretty good job of making sure that I, kept up with my brushing, albeit, I needed braces when I was younger, but I didn't get
Oh,
those or anything like that. And so far, I've been blessed, um, not to have had any missing teeth so far. So, but I have had a lot of dental work, and that's something that we're um, working on with our two children, and making sure that the girls, don't follow that same path that we did when we were younger. Their mother's got, wonderful teeth. She's got immaculate teeth. She's always taken care of her stuff. She had braces and so forth. So mine's just bone covered metal. I mean, I've got so many fillings in my mouth, it's ridiculous. But it's still all my original teeth. And like Dan, I'll probably need a partial, or, might have to have something a little more extensive done later on. But it was rolling back to the beginning, so kids maybe I think start developing their first teeth. What, around 6 months is when you can kind of start maybe seeing some
sure.
crowning of the teeth or so.
Give or
And so,
take.
yeah, yeah. And then of course they're too young or too small to start brushing by then. What you could do is maybe just get like a warm wash rag or something like that and kind of wipe their gums down after the meals or after whatever kind of food they've had. Um, just a couple times a day to kind of keep their mouth clean a little bit. Because they don't understand that they're kind of all over the place. With with their movements, and they're not as controlled or have that practice to where they can hold the brush themselves and do it. So, um,
You okay?
good.
Something fell. It
Oh,
scared
okay.
Uh-oh.
the doo doo out of me. I'm sorry about that though, folks.
No, you're good.
Not to interrupt things. That's going to be on. I guess that'll be on YouTube. Go ahead. I didn't think I touched the table, but who knew? All right. So yeah, all
No.
good things as far as wiping the gums and such.
But to that point, to the wiping of the gums, my wife found this thing real quick. It's a silicone thing with little rubber bristles or silicone bristles, and you slip it over
Yeah.
your finger when they're
Hmm.
really little. Like at first, this is what we did at first before the toothbrush, and you just put it in their mouth and kind of let them like bite. You don't sit there and brush, but you let them bite down on it, and it kind of, like he was saying with the warm washcloth or something, you can do that. That's an alternative too that we did. We didn't do the washcloth, but we did that, and until they get too many teeth and learn how to bite, then it really hurts. So that's when you
Hmm.
know it's time to switch to the toothbrush.
That sounds
Yeah.
familiar. We
So,
might have had something like that too. It's crazy.
Like
Look at
little
you
finger
guys.
puppets.
You guys like
hmm
teaching people like all kinds of things like they might not have already known. You like teachers, like three teaching dads, three dads that I don't know. I thought it would come to me if I kept talking, but it wasn't going to come to me. I guess I'll
I'll
give.
I'll give you an A for effort.
Well, at least I got an A for effort because I got an F for actual practicality. I'll give my short spiel at $5. I'll pay myself though. So I'll give my short spiel just for the sake of saying, something in the midst of all this. And I will start off by saying that teeth have always been a big deal to me. Didn't like, I had a couple different birth defects, and one of them was that I did not grow the two. They may have been there as baby teeth, but you got your two in the front on the top, and the two on opposite or on each side of those. I didn't have those. They didn't
Same,
they didn't grow in as adult teeth.
same.
And uh, when I had that, when you take that and combine a pretty nasty accident I had where I bash my face in on a well, I could get into exactly where it is, and someone would be like, "Oh shit, I've been there," but no one else listening is going to know what I'm talking about. So first, in order to avoid that, we're just going to say, as a child, I slipped on some mud and bashed like the top of my mouth against a concrete step. I don't know if it was a
Ugh.
porch or step, but that taken with the two teeth that I did not have adult versions of, I had a huge gap, and so I was really self conscious about that growing up, and I wanted my teeth to look as good as they could, you know, considering they look like dog shit with a giant gap in the middle. And some people are like, "Oh, gaps are fine," and even with me, people were like, "No, that's fine. You know, you're overthinking it." Da, 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 da. But the thing is, like, what you think is ugly. You know, if you like, I would not date a girl with a gap in her teeth, and consequently, I have me having a gap meant that why would anyone want to date me? And maybe it's not as big a deal for someone else as it is for you, but these are just things that you deal with growing up. And so I really did my fair share of brushing. And once I had the money, I went and did not hesitate to get dental surgery and braces, and got everything fixed up so that my teeth looked just like normal. And it's been there so long that the regular teeth actually have continued to age, and the two fake teeth still look like pretty new. So I'm gonna have to do some sort of bleaching or something. But as far as my own personal just history, I've never really had an issue with dental care. My mom did her part in getting me to brush my teeth early on. I still have memories of her doing it, and then you know deciding that I had reached the point where I could do it on my own, and I didn't want to do it on my own. I wanted her to keep doing it. So there was apparently a base that she laid that gave me a pretty good foundation of dental hygiene, and gave me a good I don't know path to follow when it came to the right way to take care of my teeth. And I'm glad that I did, because I look at my dad and his teeth are just fucking disgusting, and it makes me want to vomit like all over his face and all over the place. And that's just what happens when you don't take care of your teeth. And Dan, I know that you mentioned that you have a little bit of shame in the way that your situation is going, and I understand that. My shame, whatever you have, rest assured that my shame would be in 10 times more, because I am just that's just how I am. I take things and amplify them. Whatever is bad in life, I make it as as bad as it can be, because I just can't take things at face value and accept them, and accept that maybe they're not going to be as terrible as I think they're going to be. But all that has led me to a pretty healthy dental life, and I'm thankful for that. And I've managed to hopefully start to instill that with Jack. We wash his teeth every bath, and sometimes I take a shower with him, and if I don't have it in there, then we don't do it. But by and large, every bath. And we started off with, I think, something similar to what Dan mentioned with the little finger thing. We definitely moved on to a toothbrush made of the same material, where he could just basically bite on it as he wanted. And then we moved to something. It was a baby toothbrush of some kind. It's been so long I forgot even what it looks like. Because after that, we moved on pretty quickly to what we have now, which is a motorized, electric, whatever. It's battery powered. It's not like charged or anything. Um, Baby Shark or Spider Man or who the fuck knows what. I don't know. It doesn't. The point is that at this point in time, he actually does kind of like it. He will not do it himself unless the mood strikes him, and then he's like, "My turn," and he takes hold of it. But I don't think he's doing it. I, from what I can tell, looking at him, it doesn't look like he's brushing his teeth when he does it. But hey, he's learning, and he has developed to where he will let me brush every bit of his mouth without getting mad and getting cranky and crying. And then every time we're done, he's like, "All done," and I'm like, "All done, buddy. Good job." And he says, "Good job." And so I think that if I can just keep on keeping on, that it'll be one of those things that he will have at least like me a good foundation for. And then if he doesn't take care of him, then fuck kid. I hope you got good dental insurance because not a lot of people do.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got medical insurance through the fucking VA, and I still don't got dental insurance. So
Yeah, they're kind of you got to be on the ropes as far as not to cut you off or anything, but man, yeah, you got to be on the ropes as far as like dental health wise before they decide to take action with that. That's not typically their primary focus when it comes to caring for veterans. So I mean, it is kind of hard. I mean, you've got to have like maybe two teeth hanging left in your mouth before they
yeah,
might be able to help.
yeah,
And
basically,
that's not a knock against them. So that's not a knock against the healthcare system. It's just not one of their primary focuses. I
yeah,
mean, you can get dental care through the VA, but it's I don't know.
it's hard.
Maybe yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. I've not tried it myself or anything like that. I mean, I carry I think it's a Blue Cross Blue Shield. I think is who I use.
I don't know who
But
I use. I use drive to the VA and go to the doctor. That's who I use.
yeah, yeah. Hey, so something you can do with Jack later on, when you to kind of keep up that momentum of being excited about brushing the teeth and stuff. Maybe some tips to help make an activity out of it, or make it something that he can enjoy and carry on that good habit. Because that's what we're trying to do is we're trying to teach good habits to our children, and then things that they could carry on for the rest of their life, and then maybe show their children the same techniques if it applies to them too. But let's see. Um, Brush your teeth with your kids, and show them, how you do it, and you show them, like kind of like the landmarks, like where your molars are, the front teeth here, when they can talk, if you want to trip them up, you can get them to try to say the word incisor, like what's an incisor? What's an incisor, Daddy? It's your little buck mouse teeth right here. So there's that. You can take them out to the stores and let them pick out their favorite color of their um, of their toothbrush. You can let them pick out their flavor or the favorite package of the toothpaste, and just the floss or like the dental picks and stuff like that. There's a mouthwash, if that's something that you want to kind of try to um, something you want to kind of try to do. And like I said, those are some things that you can use to make the activity fun for the kids. Get them more involved in it and stuff. And so it doesn't become quite as big of a chore, for them to carry on until they're older. When their lives are busy and they've focused on other things. It's just they have that fond memory they can fall back on. Like I said, you're just creating, fostering good habits for them moving forward. So I'm gonna take a quick coffee break with that. Just a second. Cut my
Right on.
mic and
All good information from Professor Sam over there, giving us the future tidbits that we need to continue on this good path. And I think that for the most part, we both have it pretty well in hand there, Dan. We've got them started, and like
Yeah.
one thing you mentioned that stood out to me, and Sam touched on it too, was that part about not wanting to move to mint, like keeping it fruity as far as the
yeah.
toothpaste.
Yeah,
And I
because I mean
think,
the mint's pretty strong, and that might turn off the kids, or that might be something that's too spicy, or it's too cool or too hot. So like the cinnamons and the peppermints are pretty strong flavors, all around. I grew up with the peppermint stuff as a kid, and I absolutely hated it. And to this day, I still don't like anything peppermint flavored. Anything mint, spearmint, peppermint, you name it. I mean, that stuff just turns my stomach. I absolutely hate the taste of it. But I mean, when I have to brush my teeth, you know, I brush my teeth. We're grown ups now. We're big boys, and as much as it sucks, but I mean, don't try to give me a piece of Wrigley's or something like that. No, no, no. I'll just throw it up on the floor. No,
man, it's been
not
so
for me.
long. I remember that gum was so popular when we were growing up. Big like Wrigley's and Big Red,
Hmm.
Juicy Fruit, like those were like dominating the candy stores when we were kids, and you don't really see those ever anymore.
Oh,
Big League Chew. Or
Yeah,
is it, yeah,
I
Big League
love me
Chew.
some Big
Remember that
League
stuff?
Chew. I
Oh
still
yeah.
actually there's a store near here. Well, I say near, but it's near-ish here that has different flavors of Big League Chew. So if I ever get the itch, I can go there and get grape or cherry, or I think it's strawberry. I don't think it's cherry, but they have
Yeah,
a
they make
couple
them
different
in
flavors.
baseball bats
No
and
shit.
baseballs now. So yeah, so you can go out and get a whole plastic baseball bat at your house.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I mean it's a couple feet long and it's full of
That's
bubble
great.
gum. And
Uh,
they also sell the lifelike size 10 baseballs to go with it, so you can get like the combo deal. And when you're finished chewing the gum, you can, you know, go out
I'm
in
gonna
the
have to look for
backyard
that.
and knock the ball over the fence.
I mean, all jokes aside, like when I was in the army, I started dipping, and I did that for years after that. Into like I was a mechanic, and that didn't help. You know, I kept doing it then, of course, and so I stopped, and that was, you know, it wasn't as hard as I expected. But sometimes the urge does hit, and gum is like really good for that, because it's always random and weird, and I never expect it to come. So it's no thing to like stop at the gas station and get whatever, you know, and just chomp on some gum for a little bit until I forget that what I really wanted was to put a dip in. I do think, like that being said, though, and all this good dental hygiene and all these good tips, you know, make sure you turn this off so the kids aren't listening. But I think that like, you know, if I get to a certain age, I'm not even going to put a number on it, but like if I get to a certain age and, you know, let's say I've had life changes, like my son's grown up or Gloria left me or something that has changed my manner of thinking about about life and giving a fuck, I'd probably start dipping again because like I stopped doing it in fear of what it was going to do to my teeth. But if I don't care anymore, then I'd probably do it again. I mean, fuck it. You know, whatever. If you don't care about
Yeah.
the consequences, then it doesn't matter. Just do it.
Yeah.
So
Sure.
yeah, brush your teeth and floss every day, but also, you know, if your woman leaves you and your son moves away, start dipping. It's all right. It's cool.
Fuck it.
Fuck it. Anybody got anything else about dental care?
Mm-mm.
Just do it. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
really, please brush your teeth. And if you don't want to brush your teeth for you, brush your teeth or chew some gum or some sugar-free gum. Yeah, for the sake of who you're talking to that might be 3 feet away from your lips.
Yeah. That's the real point. Like I know this one dude, and I'm not going to get any more specific than that. He's a great guy, but like his breath is just like the grave, just like something crawled up in there, like curled up and just like laid down and died. Just like this is where I'm going to hide before I die, and he didn't know, and then like he opened his mouth and it rolled out in my face, and I'm just like, oh God, dude, like you're such a friendly person, but I can't do this.
Uh, with a lifelong coffee obsession, like I'm sure a lot of our other dads out there that are listening have, we all are, we all are acutely aware that, us coffee lovers and stuff, our breath probably smells like dead wood. So,
I, I feel you there. That's true. I feel though that at the same time, if it smells like my breath smells of coffee, there's worse things that it could smell like. You know, I'm not really that worried
yeah,
about
that's
it.
true. That's true.
I mean, I remember when I was apparently at a very young, um, malleable age. Malleable is not the word I wanted to use, but I couldn't think of the word I wanted to use. But I remember reading something, and I don't know if it was by a woman, but it was in a woman's point of view, and she was saying something about how sexy it was when a man smelled of whiskey and tobacco, and I'm just like, my how times have changed, or you know,
Hmm.
it's just like maybe that was the demographic they were going for, but like nowadays, that's just like not really what I want to smell of when I'm dealing with women. I don't think that's really what Gloria wants to smell when she's dealing with me. But maybe I'm wrong. You know, she does. She actually does favor whiskey. You know, that's her alcohol of choice. So maybe if I smelled like Jim Beam or something, that might be cool for her. Who knows?
I mean, I guess there's some people. I mean, there's somebody for everybody out there. There's niches and stuff for all types. And I guess if there's females out there or other individuals that are looking for a man that smells like an ashtray and Admiral Nelson Cheeks will, and
Yeah.
and that's
uh,
not a knock on them.
if you're a man that smells like that, then just rest assured, there's probably a woman looking for you.
Yeah,
That
some
I'm not
some
gonna.
trailer park.
Yeah, that woman's probably not listening to this podcast, so I'm not going to try to
Oh
speak to
no.
her. But
No.
she's out there, man, and you just keep looking, and you'll find her. Because like Sam said, there's one for everybody, at least one. There's a lot of people on this fucking planet. and some of them are
Yeah.
like really depressed and they'll fuck anything. So they ain't even, you ain't gotta like look for somebody that you're slumming. Like sometimes you can get some really hot girls and boys because they just sad about their position in life. So don't give up. Keep trying, man. Keep trying.
Desperation burns.
Yeah, it drives you to it can drive you to bigger and better things, bigger wieners and bigger boobies. So
Oh Lord.
I guess we pretty well covered our dental hygiene topic for at least today. That all these things are kind of like, man, we could have really dug into whatever, like, but for the most part, I think that it's something that you really, even if you don't care, like, you should listen to this because, man, brush your kids' teeth, get them started,
Hmm.
get them used to it because, like, if nothing else, it's gonna save you money. Toothpaste is a lot cheaper than like dental,
Braces.
yeah, braces and all that shit.
Oh boy. Yeah,
So,
braces, partials, all that stuff. Absolutely.
so start early and keep at it because it's only for the best. My wife, her brother, it like I don't know that a toothbrush has ever touched his teeth. Like he is just like grungy mouth as fuck. It's just nasty. It's like him and my dad are like racing to like worst mouth ever. And it just don't be him. Don't be that guy. Be
Hmm.
be the person that's like when you smile, like people are like, oh man, I want to suck that guy's dick. Like he's got a good smile. Like be that guy. Don't be the other guy. So, anyways, with that, we also were going to talk about another serious topic and something that dads all over are probably either curious about or at least complaining about. And that's childcare, man. That shit's expensive. And that's just what I want to say off the top right here.
Hmm.
Like, I am just in awe of how expensive childcare is. I have not looked at the numbers to see if it's something that blew up like in the 80s or apparently in the 70s is when, not to get too off topic, but if you look at things in the 70s, that's when like employer money started going off. Like employees started getting or bosses and stuff started getting paid more, and employees started getting paid less, and we the dollar started getting weaker and things like that. So I don't know if it started in the 70s or in relation to that, or if it's just something where people are like, hey, I could charge as much as I want because you don't want to deal with your kid. But childcare is the reason. Well, I won't say it's the reason because I'm fucked up, but it is a reason why I'm a stay-at-home dad, and I am lucky that I can be one because a childcare, like good childcare, can take up an entire check, and
Yep.
I just do not want to be giving that to a stranger that may or may not be taking care of my kid. So
Hmm.
with all of that negativity up front and center, I'm going to give it to Dan to start us off here, and let Dan kind of bring things back around to maybe a more positive outlook on how to view this thing. Maybe not. Maybe he's right in line with me. If so, that means he's a very logical and thoughtful person that thinks things through and analyzes things to a great degree. But that's not to say that he's going to agree with me. So what do you think, Dan? What do you got to say about this fucking childcare epidemic, man?
Well, I'm right in line with you. Unfortunately, it's expensive as all get out.
Oh,
Uh,
get out.
I didn't know. I lost my
Shucks.
train of thought there. Yeah, gee willikers. Um, yeah, I got some figures. I did a little digging on this. I got the so what I found, the average annual cost, so yearly cost for a single 4-year-old child as of May of 2023. The three highest per year states slash I don't know, well, DC, whatever, including DC. DC is number one at 19,000 a year. You're going to pay out in child support. God Almighty, child care. That's a whole nother topic for another day. Massachusetts comes in second, highest at 17K a year, and Washington State at 13.5K a year. I didn't break it down per month, but that's a shitload of money. And like Corey was saying, it's your whole check, like one whole check. If you're a 2-person household, you might as well consider one of those checks that you're getting either every week or biweekly that's going towards childcare. It's ridiculous. Like just to take care of your child. It's like you said, I think they could just say, oh, you don't want to deal with your kid? Well, all right, we're going to charge you out the ass. Like, that's
Hmm.
what you get for not wanting to take care of your child. No, it's the fact that I have to go to friggin' work every day, and I can't. It's not bring your child to work day every day. So, and my work doesn't offer daycare. So, what am I going to do?
Hmm.
So, my situation's the same as Corey's, but just opposite. He's the stay-at-home dad. I work. But I work. Sorry. Um, my wife stays home, so we do have a stay-at-home parent in our household. And it sucks the way she has to. She's disabled. I hate that she's medically disabled, but I'm kind of thankful at the same time because we don't have to pay childcare. Like she's, and like you said, Corey, I don't have to worry about who's teaching my kid. Like I trust my wife, obviously, and I know she's going to teach her well. And I can see it when I come home on the daily. I notice things, and it's hard to because we're around our kids all the time. It's easier for like my dad or somebody else to be like, oh my God, she's learned so much in the week that I haven't seen her. But just even me seeing her every day, I'm like, hey, you didn't know that yesterday, or you didn't know that 2 days ago. What the hell? And what the hell in a good way. Like that's awesome. But yeah, it sucks that my wife's disabled medically, but it has this. I look for the silver lining, and that's the fact that I know my child has the best care that she can have as far as teaching her the right things and actually teaching her something and all that. The only downside to that I would like to throw out there is no socialization unless we go have plans with other kids or daycare. They're going to get interactions with other kids on the daily for 8-10 hours, however long they're at daycare. That's the only drawback to not putting them in daycare, but I would rather save money and figure out other ways to socialize my kid than have to spend one check out of four because I get paid weekly on childcare.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
socialization is a topic all on its own.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Um,
And
but yeah, lots of good stuff there, and I know that uh, Sam is going to come in next, and he's going to be like, here's some more good stuff." So, um, go ahead and preach, Sam. What do you got? What do you have?
so like what Dan was talking about with those three top territories, DC, would you say Massachusetts and
Washington State.
Washington State, or you said DC, Washington State?
Yeah, DC is number one, Mass is number
Yeah.
two, and Washington State's number three as far as highest
Wow.
per year.
Yeah.
For one,
And so you.
that's for one kid. If you have like multiple, usually they charge you like double, or it's usually like a
Hmm.
rate. You're gonna pay this for one kid or this for two kids. Like it's different. At least it is in Tennessee. I'm pretty
Right.
sure.
Right. Right, and I think the national average is somewhere around the lines of $10,000 a year on average, and so like those few territories that you mentioned far exceed that. And I mean, whenever it comes to working parents, like you said, your situations, you guys explained your situations. I'm a single dad that works. I got two jobs, and then I do some part-time stuff for some other businesses on the side when I can. And in their mother's household, there's two people there, but they're both working full time as well. So that the dynamics in the family can change and vary from household to household. But at the end of the day, if you don't have any family members to back you up or to kind of help you out when it comes to childcare, I mean, you're looking at spending on average at least about $400 a month, if not more, on childcare. And then you even got to research the places to make sure that they're going to be reputable, safe, and that they're going to be, easily accessible in case there's like a family emergency, or if they've got a good plan for if there's any kind of medical attention that your kids need while under their care. Say that they get into something that they're allergic to, or something like that. Or do they have the staff trained? Do they have the staff there to make sure that these accidents or these situations are kind of squashed before they happen or mitigated? Because I mean, when you're having to pay 400 something dollars a month or more for daycare, you're probably sending them to a facility, not necessarily like a babysitter's house or something like that. And so there's probably like 12, 15 or more other kids there that are being watched by that sole provider or a group of providers at that facility. And like I said, that eats up I mean, a significant portion of your annual income. And it would be nice if maybe somebody came up with an idea to produce or maybe come together with like a thrift savings plan, something similar to that, where you can make contributions out of your weekly check, and your employer can kind of match you in a 401k or some kind of like a thrift savings plan to go towards childcare if it applies to you. And especially, like I said, if you're vested in working full time, and you also have your obligations to your family. And I think maybe there's some kind of talk or some kind of there should be some kind of middle ground where these two can, the family of the family or the employee can meet with the employer about maybe coming up with a program to kind of provide that for the people. Like
That's
I said, I don't know how to do it, but I mean, it just seems like that would be a pretty good idea, basing off of how much Americans are working now and how little they're actually, spending time at home with their families. Because I mean, the cost of everything is really forcing people to get out in the workforce a lot more. If you're not getting some kind of benefits or subsidies or something like that, or some kind of financial assistance, I mean, you got to work. Somebody's got to watch the kids.
yeah.
I mean, we did the latchkey stuff from the 70s and 80s, and you had 8 and 9 year olds cooking dinner, following directions on a microwave, and pretty much just in charge of the household. If they have other siblings there, and that's just not that kind of environment anymore. And we just kind of had to adapt. And unfortunately, it's taken a hit. And that hit is, like I said, our wallets are feeling the impact of that.
Yeah, bro, it's fucking. I mean, you talk about so much, like so much that I would get on something I'm going to say next, and then you would move on to something else, and I was like, oh fuck yeah, I gotta say something about that. Um, it's just sad in my eyes. Like the whole situation, it tends to affect those with less money the most, and those are the ones that need the help the most. I mean, if you're trying to better yourself, get more money for your family, but you're making minimum wage or starting out at least, then you simply cannot afford childcare. I mean, those numbers Dan was throwing out, that's more than minimum wage every year. So what are you going to do? Like, are you just going to decide not to work at all? Because it seems like that those are your options if you don't have any help, like Sam was mentioning. If you don't got grandma or auntie that can, watch the kid for you, then your options are work a shitty job until you can move up a little bit or don't work at all. And that's just terrible. That's just, I mean, that's hopeless. And the idea that Sam had about the thrift savings plan slash 401k thing, that's awesome. I mean, that's so great. Like, I feel like surely to God, some company, I mean, I can't put a name to one because most real corporations are just complete shitty pieces of terrible sin. But I feel like, maybe uh, Fresh Foods or fucking, I don't know, Aldi or one of them that takes care of their employees, like they might do something like that. But it would be awesome if you could be, just sign up to donate whatever, $100 if you wanted of your check each week, and then the company matches at least a portion of that for
Right,
childcare. That would be
right.
great. I mean, that would make them. It would make me, if I worked there, feel so like valued by that they were willing to go that far to do that for me.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And I just feel like that, while there has to be companies that do that, I bet it's not a lot. And
No, probably not.
it brings it back around to like I'm so grateful that I'm able to financially look after my own son without having to sacrifice anything. There's always going to be a part of me that wishes we had somebody more. Um, I don't want to say reliable because we have reliable babysitters, but they're just not like their health isn't there when it comes to long term, sitting sessions and for stretches of time.
Well, sure.
And
You can't have 89-year-old grandpa watching, 4-year-old caffeinated Jack. And, next thing you know, you come home and grandpa's got a broke hip and he's got to go to the ER. And so now, you got to go check on grandpa because Jack knocked him over at the coffee table, chasing around with a handful of crayons and a plunger stuck to his head, you
that's go-
know.
that's going at the end of an episode one day. That I don't know if you've ever listened to the ones on the YouTube all the way to the end, but you've got one clip that I've used where you talk about all that it is you saying you don't want to hand your kid a lighter and send him off to the grill or something like that.
Yep, that was on. I heard it on Spotify.
Yeah. Okay. So I've taken a couple like this one, the one on YouTube for part 2 of this episode. It's got "You Need That Bad Guy." So it's just random things I drop in there. But yeah, as far as childcare, I don't really have a silver lining. Like the dental thing is, we gave you tips, we gave you tricks. Childcare is just something that's going to change from situation to situation, and we could talk about it all night long. But really, like,
Oh yeah.
I don't know what you like. I don't know what you, the listener, have going on, and you're going to have to take your specific details and figure out your childcare situation from there. It really is an epidemic here, and I don't know at all what it's like in other countries. So I know we have
No.
at least a few listeners from those places, and I don't want to waste their time talking, speculating on what to do here when it wouldn't apply to them at all.
Yeah.
Long story short, it's terrible.
Yeah. One piece of advice I could give on that is I know we have a friend that I know of, and then another family member, that one of each that I know of. There are programs. I'm sure it's state by state, and it's all friggin' income based, of course. But if, like Corey was saying, if you are working minimum wage or slightly above minimum wage, there are programs that will either pay it in full or pay half or 80 or set or whatever percentage you want to, whatever they do based on what you make. They will help you with the cost of childcare, but there's so much red tape and hoops you got to jump through. I'm not going to say it's not worth it, because childcare, like he said, is an epidemic and it's very important, but it's almost like he said, you feel hopeless. Like, it's like, I can't do anything. Like, I have, like we've been saying, one whole check has to go to friggin' childcare. And then, what else are you going to do? That's one expense that you weren't planning for, or that's just extra, that just screws everything up. So,
Well,
you know,
shit. I thought Dan
Can't
was
take
going
care
to
of your
be a.
kids unless you have a job or have some kind of income,
yeah,
but you can't, you can't generate that. Most
Um,
folks can't generate that income unless they have to leave the house and go
oh, we got issues. We
to a
got
brick and
issues.
mortar job or someplace else. So it's,
Um, okay, so I did want to mention that I had a cool joke about how Dan was going to be a bright silver lining in this whole dark cloud, but then he took his dick out and pissed all over us like rain.
hey, sorry.
So I guess that's not a
It's a
silver
dark,
lining
it's
at
a
all.
dark, shitty subject, man. There's really is no silver lining to the whole childcare thing. You just gotta, like you said, bite the bullet, find help, or try to find a trusted. That's the key: trusted friend or family member
Mhm.
that can help you out. I mean, and they got to be willing. That's the only catch. Like, if you do have somebody, a friend or family member, they got to be willing, and you got to be able to trust them not to screw your kid up, like,
Yeah.
or teach
Mhm.
them completely undo everything you're trying to teach them, and teach them the opposite, or, like, whatever the case may be. But
Yeah.
you know,
Burn your house down when it's
yeah,
on, or you show up and
yeah,
the cops are there.
Yeah.
yeah,
I'm not. I typically would be like, "Hey, send your kid to me. I'll watch him." No, don't send your kid to me. I don't.
They're like, yeah, I was like, I'll fuck your kid up, like
Yeah, I
I
would
got
burn it
not.
or
enough.
something.
Yeah,
I got enough
I
to
don't
deal
need
with.
another kid. Like Dan said, I would. You would have something going on, and I would fuck all that up. I'd be giving him fucking Elmo bars and breakfast bars all day long instead of real meals. Uh, well, Dan, I hope that you're going to give us a little bit of a silver lining with your brand new segment, your
Mm,
music segment. Yay! Dan's going to talk
yay.
about some stuff.
Yay, Dan.
Yay, Dan. So Dan had some thinking on his brain that he was doing about talking some music, and he didn't know what he wanted to talk about, but he came up with an idea and he told it to me, and I said, "Yeah, do it." And he's like, "So you think it's a good idea?" And it's like, "Well, I don't really understand it." So he told it to me again, and then
Still don't understand it.
at that point, I was like, "Yeah, do it. That sounds good." And he's like, "So you understand it?" I was like, "Well, not enough to like explain it to Sam, but like I get it." So then he explained it to me a third time, and it sounded like a really cool idea. So I'm, without further ado, going to pass the ball to Dan. And Dan, go ahead and introduce your new segment. Tell us what it's about, and then dive in with us.
All right. So this little segment of mine is something that I have done ever since I can remember. Just a little quick intro to it. When I listen to songs of bands that I like, because I don't listen to shit I don't like, I always try to find the meaning of certain songs, what they're trying to say, or at least what I think they're trying to say. I'm never probably ever right, except this one. I'm pretty sure I'm right on. Um, not to toot my own horn, but yeah, I try to. I don't know. I'm weird like that. I like to find meaning in songs and stuff like that. And I'm very musically driven. Music's a big part of my life. I've played guitar for going on 20 years, I think now, and off and on. But it's just been a big part of my life, and it's something I like to do. So, without further ado, I have a song here from my favorite band. Fuck it, we'll give them a plug. Avenged Sevenfold, off their new album "Life Is But a Dream." The song is called Mattel. Yes, Mattel, like the toy company that made He-Man and all your favorite action figures, probably back in the day.
And M16s.
Yeah. Mattel. So basically, yeah, that should the title. I mean, it kind of to me is self-explanatory, but for the listeners, probably not. So basically, they basically the song is about how everything is kind of fake and plasticky and not real, and yeah, just how we're living in a world that's just fake. Everything's fake. Like one of the lines, the first two lines here, my vinyl skin provides protection. It holds in place my plastic bones. Like people are fake, thin skinned and fragile is what I took from that. Like, vinyl is pretty thin, weak material, or it can be. And your plastic bones, I mean, plastic's going to break quicker than, a bone would. So, that just sets the pace. Cast button eyes reflect an image. All seems as it should, but there's nobody home. That's the next part of that verse. Basically, what I took from that: the lights are on, but nobody's home. You're there, but you're not mentally, and you're just going through the motions. And and it goes on and on. I won't go through every line,
So much for
but
silver lining.
yeah. I told you this was dark, man. Um, but yeah, it just basically goes on and on. Everything's fake. The chorus. Now I know this might sound crazy, but I've smelled the plastic daisies, and it seems we found ourselves in hell. I mean, even the flowers are fake. Like, I've been everywhere, like Lowe's and even like Tractor Supply. You can buy these fake plants, and people just buy them because they don't care. Like they don't want to take care of something. They just, I don't have time, but I want to make my shit look cool, so I'm going to buy these fake plants. And just it just goes a lot right along with the Mattel, the toy. Everything's plastic, everything's fake, and just stuff like that. So I don't really know where I want to go from here with this segment. This is kind of a trial and error. I don't want to break down the whole damn song because I feel like that would be boring. But yeah, basically we're just toys that, I have a note here. We're basically toys that God plays with, quote unquote. Like, we don't have it seems like we have a choice in the matter, but really we don't. This, like I said, this is all very grim. It's a very shitty episode for, for hope and, all that shit. But, yeah, we all live fake and fragile lives. Like it's I don't know. There's not much more to say without repeating myself on this. This was an easy one for me to see, but because I've listened to it nonstop since it came out. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what you guys think. I kind of agree to a certain point. I can see, everything's fake. There's not much real anymore, and the things that are real, not to get off on a tangent, are kind of like shunned, and everybody wants the fake shit more now. It seems like that nothing's real. It's all just manufactured.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So
I don't know what we're going to call the segment, but I do like what it's shaping into in front of me here. It looks you're taking a song, you're giving your take on its meaning. You take that meaning, you give a take on life through that meaning. I mean, I like the potential that you have here. I think that really you just you don't need to go through the whole song if you don't want to. Pick out like you did the lines that support the point you're trying to make.
Hmm.
After get the meaning of the song, and then pick out the lines that support the point you're trying to make, and then turn that into a segment. I think that a lot of people are into the musical analysis of things that we have never dipped our toe in. We kind of did that sort of thing with the movies, at least on the surface, but never even really in depth. Never like what was beneath that. And you really, that's exactly what you did with the song. So I think if you want to do that again, that'd be really cool. You could bring, I don't know, a different, different song from a different band, and
Oh yeah, for sure.
that song, just like for instance, next week you hear a song that makes you think about your dad or life in some way, shape, or form. That's the one you talk about next, and then you tell us what that song's about, and just like today, you tell us how it plays into um, the point you're trying to make, and what it made you think of to start with. I think that's a cool segment. I think that the next time you do it, it'll flow better than the first time. They're always bad in the beginning, just like
Oh yeah.
our first 20, 21 episodes, something along those lines. They're all awful in the start. So you gotta mold it into a pretty stable, flowing vase. It's just a mold of clay at first. So
Yeah.
that is definitely something that I enjoyed listening to, uh, and I think that, like I said, the next time I'll enjoy it even more. So if you are interested in doing that, that's something that we could make a thing of, and we would have some sort of cool name. I don't know, Dan's Musical Corner or some shit. I don't know, something hopefully better than that. But at the same time, yeah, that's something we could definitely do again and again. We could add it into our list of other things, our grind my gears and all that sort of thing.
Yeah,
We
sure.
listeners, aren't in the know like we are, and sometimes I say things that maybe they don't have quite the familiarity that I would expect or assume. So what I'm talking about is that we are going to do a couple of old school episodes with just the guys, just the fellas, just bullshitting and talking about the things that we want to talk about.
Yeah.
That's
And
right.
we
Yeah.
are we have yet to decide if we're going to put those at the end of all these or drop them in the middle. I'm leaning toward dropping them in the middle.
Sprinkle them in.
Yeah, sprinkle them in like salt to you know top that. I don't know what I'm not even gonna keep going. I'm not gonna make a good metaphor from that. Just sprinkle it in. And if it was the audio version won't even have that in it, but the video, I can't take it out.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's cool. I'm always glad to have something else that we can draw from, because I know that we have a lot of different things we could say with the few segments that we have, but it's always cool to have another one. And
Yeah.
some of them fall flat, like the wrestling thing. That was kind of stupid. I wanted that to be something, but you know, what can you do?
Yeah.
But this one, I think, has more legs than that one did. You kind of bring a bit of philosophy, a bit of modern modern like life to it in a way. So that does have parallels to what we deal with
And,
on an everyday
and
basis.
and like I said in the
Mm.
intro to this thing, I mean I'm very passionate about music. Like I've started to have the itch to start writing music again and to start playing obviously music again. I'm not much of a writer. That was your aspect when we were jamming and stuff, but I can I dabble. You
Yeah, if
know,
you're in our area and you play bass or drums, get a hold of me. We'll
yeah.
get together.
Um,
We were
but yeah,
never
it's
able to get a bass player.
I don't I don't know if it's because of this new album. I know there's a lot of hate about it. I know you said you didn't like it, Corey. You tried, and hey, at least you tried. But I'm ride or die with this band. It's been my favorite band since I was I don't even know, fucking 14, 15 years old, and I don't like all the songs. I don't even like I don't even consider their first album part of it, but you know, it's just my opinion on it. But yeah, I've grown to like their new stuff a little bit. It's definitely not like the old stuff. I'm not disappointed in their direction. It's just a new direction, and we always give bands shit for doing the same old, pumping out the same work. And you can't say that about this album. I know, like I said, I know you only listened to a little bit of it, what you could stomach, but this is definitely completely different. They're going in a completely different direction. I'm not really a fan of all of it, of this new stuff, but I like the fact that they're changing it up and trying to do something different and pissing off pretty much everybody with that likes them. You know, I've seen mixed reviews, more hate than love, but I like it. It's something different, something new.
Right on.
Yeah, yeah. And I think as artists, they try to strive to continually, if they're a good artist, about, reading their fan base. And, you can do the same thing for 15, 20 years or plus more and stuff. And, you see that with like um, some of the old school pioneering metal bands, or the Big Four, or even beside them, and some of the groups that were influenced by them, back in the late '70s, early '80s, and so forth. And it's some bands catch hell for doing the same thing, consistently for decades. And I
Yeah.
mean, when when bands sometimes decide to change their sounds up and decide to go in a completely different direction, bands catch hell for that too. I guess case in point, you could see Opeth, for example. Like the
Mm-hmm.
first, I think, what was it, 16 years? Maybe not that long, but maybe the first 10 years that they were out, and with like Candlelight Records, I believe. They were very dark metal, very kind of foreboding sound. And now, here over the past few years, after the Deliverance and Damnation albums, I think, the band has decided to go ahead and change direction with that, and do a lot more clean vocals. Stuff that sounds more like classic rock. It's got more folk sound to it, some like Robin Trower kind of influences. And some fans are on the fence about that. I love it. I think it's great. It's a fresh idea. As an artist, you're always trying to continually challenge yourself, not do what's comfortable for you necessarily, explore different avenues. And I like that. I'm not, I'm not as passionate of a fan of the band like you are, Dan. But when I listened to it and read the lyrics, for me, it kind of showed that it was almost like the song was talking about mass producing lemmings, more or less.
Yeah.
Everything's
Yeah.
fake and stuff like that. We want you to work yourself to death. We want you to stay on social media, keep your face glued to the news, the TV, be connected all the time, be available all the time, be online, and that's just not. I mean, it's just it's a song, in my opinion, about the current topics. 30
Yep.
years ago, you didn't have that stuff. 40 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
you didn't have that kind of environment where everybody's you know got their face buried in a phone, or they're
Yeah.
worried about the casual conversations and the social media stuff, and the news, the politics, the world events. Everybody's all connected now. Everybody's connected. They've always got their phone in front of them, and
Yep.
they're not out here living life and enjoying things in the moment. They're living out this fantasy that's digital. And they're
Yeah.
just mindlessly going from day in, day out, working themselves to death. And like I said, just like lemmings, just
Mm-hmm.
they're following the light on their cell phones to their
Yeah.
demise.
There's actually hearing you give your take on it, which is kind of what I want. I want some back and forth from the three of us
Yeah,
or whatever about,
yeah,
and if you guys have a song, I know like I'm probably the one that does this the most, but if you have a song that you're passionate about, bring it, man, and we'll break it down too.
sure.
But no, hearing you talk about your take real quick, um there's a line that actually I was looking for it. I wasn't ignoring you. I was trying to find it because I wrote down, and you basically the long version. I summed up basically what you were saying with this one line, and it's right at the end. It's and well, living faint in excuse me, that's $5 fine. Living faint in porcelain and just smart enough to know nothing at all. That pretty much, they want to keep us just smart enough to where we think we know what's going on, but we have no fucking clue what's going on. There's so much shit
Smart
going on
enough.
behind the scenes, and
Oh yeah,
yeah, we're just smart enough to know nothing. Nothing. We don't
smart
know shit.
enough. Smart enough to follow instructions, and smart enough to provide the I don't know, the 1%, the employers, the government, the man,
Yep.
smart enough to give the man and provide the man with what he wants.
Yep.
You're dumb enough not to figure it out, to break out on your own and think for yourself. Question authority, however you want to put that. That's not my
Yeah.
words, somebody else's. But you know, yeah, I can see that. I can see that, and I like this back and forth talk about and it can cross genre lines.
Oh
Like
yeah.
you said, Dan might like oranges and Corey might like apples. And then we just kind of talk it out. So I
Apples.
think that's a great. I think this could be a good segment.
Right on. Look at
Right
that.
on.
Dan was all worried and shit. Then we turned that into something.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Talk about life and shit.
But to turn this episode around, let's end on a dad joke.
Hey, you know what?
Hey,
We've not done that before, I don't think.
No.
I mean, I smoke an enormous
No.
amount of weed, so I could have forgot.
Brand
But,
new
like,
segment.
Yeah, brand new segment. Like, let's do it. 2 in a row.
Yeah.
Let's go. Fucking dad joke. Right on.
That's right.
All right. So, what do you got? What do you got?
All right. What do you call a mobster buried in concrete?
Crickets,
Not
man.
Jimmy Hoffa.
I don't know.
A
lead foot?
hardened criminal.
Man, that was in front of me. That was in front of me, bro. In front of me, and I didn't see it. I should have saw it. That was a good one though. I feel like that was one of the first ever dad jokes.
Hey,
Hardened criminal.
That was a classic.
could be.
I'm glad that you gave us that dad joke. I would have forgotten. All I did remember was that we probably don't need another topic. We're probably good to go as far as length.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
you've listened this long, then you are a true fan, and I appreciate it. And,
I just got the look.
I just got the text message, so
Yeah.
I know where you're coming from. The text message is easier to ignore.
Yeah.
So
Time to wrap it up, I guess.
yeah, it has been fun though. I'm glad that we were able to loosen this up a little bit more than the guests shows are done. So that was fun. That made it a little bit more of a laugh. Well, I guess I don't have anything. We're gonna go ahead and throw this on YouTube since we held it together for an entire episode, and that'll be our first ever. So I'm sure it'll get all of four. Oh, hey, man! If you would have had that one in the beginning, then they would have listened and watched the entire time. Like no one's gonna catch that cute little puppy. Oh, you kisses. Just give him daddy kisses. Oh, there's another baby too. Oh, that's Isabel. That's Isabel. What's that one's name?
This is Cerberus.
Sir, you said that. You said that. Cerberus and Isabel. I wish I had my dog. All
That's
right.
why my camera keeps shaking.
If my camera keeps shaking, it's because my dumbass is kicking the table. But once again, thank you guys for showing up. I never really know why you keep wanting to come here and talk about things, but I always appreciate you doing it. And we will, I guess, do it again next week. And for the listeners, they probably won't hear that one right away. Maybe we'll drop this one in after Michelle. I don't know. We'll see. But I've got I don't know if you were in it, Dan, but we did the Violent Baby, where the baby's like hitting the dogs and shit. Way back when episode. Might have just been me and Sam. That was theoretically next in line, so I don't know. We might do that as a bonus episode. Just barely edited it all and drop it too. Anyway, we've been here forever, and I don't want to drag on. That was an awesome dad joke, so we're going to go ahead and cut our losses and get out of here. And we practiced this, and it's going to be perfect the first time we do it. So, I'm Corey, and for your two dads, for Dan, for Sam, hey man, check you guys later.
Check you later.
All right, thanks for tuning in.
Right on. And for the YouTube viewers, I'm going to cut it off at that point for Spotify and iTunes. But for everybody else, thanks for hanging around. Thanks for listening this long. Like, share, follow everywhere we are, and tell all your friends and beat them with objects until they listen and
That's
rate
right.
5 stars. Hit them literally. I'm not joking. I'm not fucking joking. Hit them with things
About the face and neck.
about the face and neck until they subscribe, like us, and share themselves and rate us 5 stars.
Right.
But don't tell the YouTube and the iTunes guy or the Spotify and the iTunes guys that we're violent like that because we don't want them to know.
We need sponsorship
Yeah,
later.
we need sponsorships for them, but we show YouTube our true faces.
That's right.
We're all about the violence. So, anyways, hey, thanks guys, and I'll check you guys later.
Check you later.
Check you later.
But he is fuck, I forgot what I was gonna say. My mind just went blank. It was probably a lie anyways.